Hey crafty friends, it's Rick. I'm back with another video. Today I have another 3 cards, 1 layout video to share with you. And today we're going to be featuring the Best Fishes Stamp and Die set from Simon Says Stamp, or your dies. I'm also going to be using this new stencil. It is the underwater stencil from Simon Says Stamp. And then some of the cards I'm going to be using the Beach Party pattern paper. This, I think, is no longer available, but they have something similar in this website. So this is our layout for this month. It's one we're going to be using. So I'm going to set that to the side. And we are going to start off with card number 1. I'm going to go ahead and we're going to color up our images for this card. I'm going to pull in my inspiration pattern paper as well as my color protecting sheet. I'm going to be coloring with my Ohuhu markers today. So for my first color combo, we're going to do a coral color. And I'm going to do our little octopus in this color combo today. So I'm going to start off on the sides over here. He's more facing kind of more frontwards. So I'm going to do him, color him up that way. So we'll color right here. And I've already colored the other images off camera to save us a little bit of time. So I'm going to come in with my next lightest color, which is YR70, which is light orange if you have a different Ohuhu set. I will have all these colors listed on my coordinating blog post as well, so you can check all that out. And then my last color is BR208, which is black brown. And why they call it that, I do not know. It's a nice, pretty coral shade. It's also in the skin tone set as well. So we'll just finish blending that out. All right, for my little seahorse, we're going to do him a yellow-green with a touch of yellow. I'm going with G190 olive green, G170 May green, and G130, which is acid green. So we are going to start off with our darkest color and add in his little shadows on our little seahorse. We will switch to our G170. So I'll just color around that. And pull this out a little bit more onto his face. And then we're going to come in with our G130, which is our acid green. We'll blend all this together. All right, for my yellow combo, I'm going in with Y1, pastel yellow, Y3, Barnum yellow, and GY3, which is anise. So I'm just going to add a little bit of that yellow on our little seahorse. I'm going to come in with the darkest color on his little spots. Then we'll move to our GY3. Y3. And to our GY6, which is actually a yellow. It's like a light green, yellowish color. All right, for my whale, I'm going to do a blue-green combination. And I'm starting off with G6 as my darkest color, G4 as my mid-tone, and G360 as my highlight. And that is, G6 is Dusty Jade Green, G4 is Mars Green Light, and G360 is Pond Green. I'm going to start off with my darkest color. I'm going to add that in. right around our cute little whale. Add that to his little fins. I'm going to come and switch over to my G4 and blend that together. Go right around his little spots. Around his little water spout. Turn my paper, and I have stamped this in the black ink from Rainbow Splash, which is Simon Says Stamps ink, one of their ink brands. It's the starter level ink. It is alcohol safe after it dries. And we're going to come in with our pond green, which is the G360. And I can blend everything together. We will have to go back and hit that other fin, dorsal fin in the back. Just get that. Go ahead and get his little tail fin as well. Come back and hit that. All right, we're gonna come in with my lightest two yellow shades, the GY3 and GY6, for our little undercarriage of his our little whale here. Just so we have a little bit more color going on. And it's a card, it doesn't have to be exact. No one says that your cards have to be realistic. You can make them as colorful and as bright as we all want. All right, now for our little bubbles, I'm going to actually do some reflecting the shades on our little animals. So we're just going to add just touches of the colors we have already used in there. Just so that they're nice and colorful. I'm going to hit those little spots back here as well. On our little seahorse. Some of those bubbles going on. And we need to color up our little water. I'm just going to use some of our lightest color there. All right, so there's all of our coloring. I'll cut this out with our matching dies and we'll be right back. I've got my sketch here and I've got my stencil. I'm gonna go ahead and lay on stencil number 1 from our Ocean Wave stencil. And I'm going to pull in my ink pads. I'm going to be using Lake and Sea on this card. Lake is lighter, so we will start off with that. And we will add this layer. And I'm going to go light with this one because this is a 4-layer stencil. We're going to line up stencil 2. And I'm going to come back in with Lake again, and I'm going to give it just a slightly heavier application of color. This makes it just slightly darker with the same 2 ink pads. All right, we're going to pull in our next layer, which is stencil number 3. And I'm going to use the C ink pad. I'm going to more on the lighter side. And if it's splotchy, it's okay. No big deal. It is water, by the way. Our last color, I'm going to give it a good heavy application. And yes, I know some of those colors overlapped, which is fabulous. So peel this off and we'll have our reveal. So if I can get it up off of the paper. So I can take that off. Now we're going to build up our cards. So this is our first card for sketch for our layout today. I did have some extra pieces of cardstock just in case I needed them. I have a top floating card base. Don't need the envelope, so I can get rid of that. All right, now, instead of doing it just like the sketch, I'm going to turn it that way, and I'm going to add it in a different orientation. So I'm going to start off with my largest piece of pattern paper. So one thing you can do with layouts and sketches is turn them a different direction, and you can get a totally different look from just that one sketch. So we have flipped it on its horizontal, and now we're going to add our little pattern paper pieces here. We can add our panel right there. I'll have to clean that glue off. We've got our little sea creatures that are going to go on here, and I'm going to go ahead and stamp my sentiment onto our card front while we have this in. I'll go ahead and pop in our Misty. I'll pop on my sentiment. So this is where I know they're going to go. So we're going to put our sentiment right closer to the top. I'm going to stamp this in VersaFine Onyx black ink. Now there are coordinating dies for this sentiments as well in this set. I'm choosing just to stamp it down to keep it easy. And then I will figure out what embellishments I'm going to use later. So we'll add a little bit of foam tape behind our little creatures. And I can peel those backings off. And we'll add a little bit of liquid glue. And I'll go ahead and add those on there. And then I can move this one to the side, and we'll work on the other two layouts. All right, for our next card, we're going to do just pattern paper. And I'm going to lay it out exactly how the sketch is intended. So I've got my pattern paper here. I'll add that. Come right there. I did shorten it just a little bit. Or at least that one panel. This one I need to flip upside down because we have that hole. And then we are going to add our panel here. This is where our sentiment is going to go on. And we will cover up our little hole. And then this I'm just going to attach just straight down. No dimension whatsoever on this one. So we'll pop them right over here. And then I can open this up and I can trim this off by... Okay, we'll go ahead and stamp our sentiment just little, when you're working with sketches or anything, layouts, it's just a matter of just giving it a little bit of tweak to get different looks. Never be afraid to add something or take away something from your sketches. All right, now we've got our last panel here. And we're going to use our panel there. And I'm going to end up cutting this down. We're actually going to cut it to the size that we need. So we need one that is 1 3/4 inches wide. And one that is only 1 inch wide. And I'm going to flip those around. And then that I could use for the inside, or we could use it for something else. All right, this time we are going to add these on, and we're going to take and attach them right to our panel this way. So we're going to come right along that edge, line everything up. We've already flipped this around, so we just have to line it back up. We're just going to kind of shift it around where we have a little bit of a different look. I will cut off this excess here. And then we will add this to our card front. We've got our little critters. And this time I am going to pop them up. And we are going to attach them down about right in there. Then I will do our sentiment for this card. I'm going to place it right here, nestled into our little critters. All right, I went and grabbed my embellishments. I'm going to do some baubles. So I'll just put those in there. I'm also going to do our normal gel pen highlights. So we'll go ahead and do that as well. And we'll pop in a few of those, especially in our little bubbles. Just adds a little bit more character to our little guys. I'm gonna go over our little seahorse's little white dots on him, or dots on him. Add some here for him. I'm gonna go over these little spots on our whale. Some right there to our little seahorse. Now we could also add some stardust stickles or something to our bubbles if we wanted to make them shiny. We will see how that's going to work. So I finished adding my little highlights here, and I will slide these two over. We're going to add a few embellishments here. Pop those on. I always like adding the bubbles for anything that's under the water. I just think it adds to the card, adds to that whole theme, keeps it really cohesive. That one right up there. And we'll add this one right over here. So there's our first card. We'll add our next layer set of embellishments here. I'm going to add a few of the big ones as well. So we might have some bigger bubbles, as well as our little small bubbles. The hardest part is always picking them up. So we'll go ahead and do card number 3. Pop that one right there. Pop that one there. And our next one. If Rick could get it picked up without getting it in the glue. I am going to add some shimmer pen to our water and some of our little bubbles over here. Because, you know, why not? We can add some to our little animals as well, just so they have a little bit of glisten. There's nothing wrong with that. This one I'm just going to add a little around here on his little tummy. Same thing with our little seahorses and octopi. So I'm going to mainly keep it on the bubbles and the water. And actually, I think I'm going to pull in a little Stardust Stickles to add to our bubbles. That way we have some nice sparkly little bubbles. I'm going to add just a little bit to our little whale. Spread that out. We'll add a little bit to our little octopi up here as well. And to our little seahorse so that they have a little glisten. All right, here is our 3 finished cards using the one layout, using the Best Fishes stamp set and dies. I hope that you like this layout and you give this a try. Here's a look at the first one card. So look at our other version and our last version. All right, if you like this video, you're probably going to like the one coming right over there. I'll see you over there in that video. Bye, guys. Stay crafty. Love you.